time our ops sergeant major walked up, and I was like, "Hey, sergeant major, like, let's go. Like, hey, let's go get these guys." And he's like, "Malone, I wish I had 1,000 troops just like you right now." He's like, "Son, you kind of messed up. I can't use you right now." He's like, "But I like your heart." He's like, "Just hang in there."
Yeah.
And at that point in time, I was like, "This is bad. This is bad. They're not letting me up." And I knew if anybody was going to let me up, it would have been our ops sergeant major.
Yeah.
Because this dude is the most hardcore guy ever. He was great. And I knew then, I was like, well, I'm along for the ride. And it wasn't until I got to Walter Reed. I went to Balad. Apparently, they lost me on the bird going to Balad. And then they lost me again on the table at Balad. And they had to defibrillate me and all that fun stuff.
Wow.
And so I woke up there just like I am right now, good to go. Like, didn't see no tunnel, no light. It was just like I took a good nap and
Okay,
woke up.
am I good now? Can I go now?
Yeah, and that was my question. Like, I'm straight. Like, let's go.
So
like I picked my hand up and it looked like a boxing glove on there.
Oh yeah. So how far into your first deployment was this?
That was 9 months.
About 9 months. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So that right there, they pulled the plug on me there and sent me back, which obviously I had no choice but to get medevac there.
Okay.
And when I got to Walter Reed, that was from the time I got there, I was like, I got to get back. And I was trying so hard to get back that tour, you know.
Yeah.
But I remember when I first got there, like I said, I didn't know that I had an open skull fracture. I mean, they put a titanium mesh plate or whatever in the back of my head to reinforce my skull. And launch stool, I was in a coma, in a drug-induced coma there for 4 days. And that was pretty wild. And then when I got to Walter Reed, they came in and take the staples out of the back of my head. And I was like, I don't have staples in my head. You got the wrong room, you know. And I felt, and it was like a zipper up the back of my head. And I was like,
that's when you found out?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, wow, this is wild.
That's crazy.
And even then, like, my traumatic brain injury they checked my vision field because, like, where I got hit at is, like the vision part of your brain. They did all these wild eye tests and I never had a problem there.
That's good.
But the whole time was focusing on getting my hands back straight. When the shrapnel went through, it blew the bone out in my middle and ring finger on my right hand. All the bone, tendons and everything. They tried to go in and reconstruct it. They put pins in, which is crazy because they attached the pins to just 2 fragments of bone. The biggest fragments that I had in my hand, they attached pins to, and I grew bone back. So my fingers on my right hand they're like short, straight across, like because I'm missing the bones. Like one of my knuckles is shifted back far. But you know, they said I would never make a fist. They said I'd never hold a gun. Like I was done. And within 3 weeks, I think it was, I closed the hole. I closed the hole in my hand up.
That's right.
And was working on straightening my fingers back. And the whole time when I went in, I had some of the best therapists ever. And they loved it when I came in.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if I leave here and I'm not in tears and my hand's not working, you didn't do your job. I was like, get me back.
Yeah.
And they were like, let's go.
That's the attitude you got to have, though, in that situation. Like, there's no other option. And if you have that mindset and you can get into that mindset, you're like, you feel like you're unstoppable. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much, it was just, I knew I had guys that depended on me, and right now they were a man short, and somebody was going to come in and replace me that didn't know my guys.
Yeah.
You know, that wasn't used to how we ran things and our tactics. Like, it's kind of, at a certain point, it becomes, you know, plug and play, because we kind of, as the Army, you know, we tend to stick to like certain tactics and stuff where everybody goes in. So when that does happen, somebody can step in like that. And fortunately, my replacement ended up being a great guy and came in and did good things, you know, with the platoon after I left. But,
and what rank were you?
When I got hit, I was a specialist.
Okay.
So, not quite the low man, kind of in the middle.
Yep.
Yeah.
But so then after that, I went back to Fort Campbell and started training again. I was in when they came back, we had a short turnaround, and my squadron went to Afghanistan.
Okay.
And I ended up missing that tour with them. I was in a Wounded Warrior Battalion.
I'm sure that hurt.
Oh man, it sucked bad.
Yeah.
Because that's one of those deals where everybody around you is hurt, broke, something, and they're either on their way out or transitioning back in.
Right.
And at that point in time, I was kind of in limbo. And
did you know what your future held in the Army, or was it still kind of up in the air?
Oh, it was definitely up in the air, but I was fortunate because I kind of fell through the cracks, which was great for me. And honestly, that's one of the reasons that I think that I got to stay as long as I did, is because with the whole division leaving and going to Afghanistan again, they were focused on that, and I just kind of kept my head down, and got back. I worked out 6-7 days a week, doing my own thing. At that point in time, I was a E4 promotable. I was getting ready to pin on E5 sergeant. So, I had the trust of my senior leadership. They were great. My platoon sergeant and my section sergeant were like, "Hey man, just call us and let us know you're alive. Stop in every now and then. Like, I see you working. Like, keep your head down. You got this." And I was like, "Bet, let's go." Yeah. So ran into a guy one night at dinner. Got talking to him. He still has an MMA gym there in Clarksville. Like, opened my eyes to a whole new world. Started training MMA with him and teaching jiu-jitsu. And
did your hand affect like your punching or anything like that?
All. If anything, I kind of made it a little better because I can make a fist, but my knuckles kind of poke out a little bit. But that's kind of one of the things we're worried about. And we just took it easy, but it kind of, I guess it was a side goal that more or less helped me out for my main goal to get back to the line. But started, I taught submission wrestling and jiu-jitsu, and then learned kickboxing, and like went all through that. I ended up, they taught me into fighting, and took my first fight and went down and fought a guy. They said that we were supposed to be 2 0-0 fighters. Well, it turns out the guy was sandbagging. He was 9-0,
oh my God,
hometown hero and stuff. And we come out there and we locked up, and I won. I ended up winning. Went back in. It was pretty good. I was impressed. Definitely busted the guy up pretty good. Yeah. But went back, and this is back in the DVD era, and threw a copy of my fight on my PA's desk, and was like, "Hey, like if I can do this, I can go back to war."
Yeah,
and she put it in and watched it. She was like, "Is that you?" And I was like, "Yeah,
that's me."
She's like, "Oh my God!" She's like, "You're crazy." She's like, "But you know what? If this is what you want to do, and I would rather see you do something that you have your heart in. Like, I'm not going to turn you down for that." She freaking stamped off on my paperwork, and I started calling around.
Awesome.
To brothers that I was like, "Hey, when are y'all leaving? When are y'all deploying? I need to go." And talked to a buddy of mine down in El Paso. He was in 413 Cav in First Armor. He's like, "We're slotted in April." I said, "Sweet. I'm pinning on E5 en route. Like, what's your sergeant major's name and number? Like, let me talk to him." So he went and talked to him, and then was like, was telling my story and all this. And I called him, and he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I need you. Like, let's go." And so I filled out all my paperwork to transfer. And at the time, I didn't know that they were moving First Armor from Germany to El Paso. And so when I get down there and I hand him my orders, I was like, "Hey, this has me slotted for 1st Brigade, First Armor. Like, what do we need to do?" And he's like, "There ain't nothing you can do." He's like, "Yeah, that's a new, they're standing the division up here. That's the 1st Brigade." So he's like, I hate it. I can't do anything for you." So I ended up going to 1st Battalion, 1st Armor. the 1st Brigade, 1st Army. And I was in 6-1 Cav there. And deployed with those guys. We left November of 2009. And I got hit December 20. It's weird because it was like that midnight range. So it's either December 28th or like 11:58 or
not exactly sure.
December 29th. Yeah. So, but that tour was boring. There really wasn't a whole lot of action. It was a completely different fight.
Yeah.
And I had trained my guys for what we've seen in 0506. I mean, we actively chased the enemy and like,
sure.
I mean, it was counterterrorism at its finest. We would go out during the day and pass out food and shoes and soccer balls and whatever, and talk to the people, try to gain their trust. And it was like, hey, who's around here doing bad? Who's trying to? Because at that point in time, we had a lot of foreigners coming in, and they were telling the locals like, hey, you're going to go out and dig this hole and put this bomb in there. And
that's so wrong.
Like if you don't, like, we're going to kill your family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
so it was tough at first, like getting the trust of everybody. But then once we started coming in and pumping stuff in, and just we had such a strong presence there, and we always had a platoon in sector. So I mean, we did some great things in 0506. So I was ready for that.
Right.
And
did you work with like Iraqi police or anything like that to train?
We did not. We were kind of our own little cell. Fortunately, I can't say that I would have minded it, but I'm glad that we got to operate how we did, because I think that the missions that we were running were detrimental to achieving the goal of
pretty high
we got
speed.
A lot of those bad guys. Yeah, we got a lot of bad guys out of the way, and a lot of low level bad guys, and we actually caught some pretty high up guys too. So it was all in all a great tour of 506. Which it's wild, when I got to First Armor, like I was just bummed out, and I was like, well, you know what, like now's the time. Like I'm getting in shape like I need to be. And I'm going to selection for Special Forces. Okay, and I started training and started doing that. And then, through all that time, I'm training my guys is like, you're going to a dogfight. Like there's going to be people taking pop shots.
Well, that's what you knew,
Exactly. So, and, trained them to the best of my ability. And I preach to them, brotherhood. You watch your brother's back. Like, hey, don't let your battle buddy leave his weapon. Like, hey, if he's slipping, hey, pick your man up.
Yeah.
Like watch your buddy. And like the whole time I'm going through and I'm training with them. But on the side, I'm still doing my training for Special Forces. And finally got all the waivers I needed and had everything signed up and was getting ready to submit my package. And we were having a little team building exercise at my house that night, or one night. And I had all my guys over. We had a fire lit in the backyard and fire pit. And we're standing around, and everybody's drinking, we're having fun. And I let them know. I was like, "Look, guys," I was like, "I'm gonna have to sit this one out. I got this goal. I'm going to selection for Special Forces. I'm not gonna play with y'all."
Yeah.
And man, one of my guys hit me right in the gut. Because he was like, "Saul Malone." He's like, "How are you gonna leave?" He's like, "This whole time
you've been pumping us up."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what? You're right. You're absolutely right. And I was like, that I'm wrong for that. And,
well, that's awesome. That's awesome that you had that realization, And I'm sure you grew as a person from that.
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, it was almost immediate too, and I was like, wow. That's such a happy thing for me to do, to get out here, and here I am, telling these guys one thing, which is the right thing. It's how you want to be, but at the same point in time, like,
but I was their leader,
exactly. But I was leading from the side. I wasn't leading from the front like it should have been. And that right there, like, it shook me, and I was like, all right, well, here we go. And I shifted gears into that,